the schools in Tolu, while it is a good one that the state government has rebuilt those schools and put them in good shape, I just want. You call him Oye, so that was awesome. Thank you very much. So we have with us also, we have with us the GM Eco FM, Radio Lagos, my own boss, Mr. Chile Lawal, is also here with us. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Mr. Tayo Akonle.
To just keep the long protocol so that we can get down to business as early as possible, and we won't have to spend so much time here. So I thank everybody for showing up for this very important ceremony. Gentlemen of the press, my own people, it is my pleasure to address you today on behalf of the Lagos State Government and Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, as we prepare to receive His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on the forthcoming visit to Lagos for the commissioning of several iconic projects. This visit is not only significant for Lagos State, but also for the entire nation, as it underscores the continued commitment of the government at all levels to infrastructural development, economic growth, and improved quality of life for our citizens. Lagos, as we know, remains the commercial nerve center of Nigeria and a hub of innovation, enterprise, and resilience. The projects slated for commissioning during Mr. President's visit on April 8 and 9 reflect our administration's deliberate and strategic investment in critical sectors such as transportation, infrastructure development, agriculture and food systems, public sector development, and others. President Tinubu is expected to inaugurate key infrastructure projects executed by the administration of Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu and Dr. Kadri Obafemi Hamzat. These projects reflect our commitment to development and improved living standards. Among the projects slated for inauguration is the Mende-Opebi Link Bridge, which is expected to ease traffic congestion across the metropolis. Also scheduled at the Lagos State Geographic Information Service Building, which is expected to transform our land records, among other functions, and a multi-agency complex named after the president himself. A newly completed school complex will also be inaugurated. There's also the mid-level agro-produce hub, Abidjan, on the Lekki-Epe Expressway. These projects have been carefully conceived and executed to address the growing needs of our population, ease mobility, stimulate economic activities, and enhance social welfare. They are a testament to our unwavering commitment to building a greater Lagos, one that is inclusive, sustainable, secure, and globally competitive. The Tolu Schools Complex in Ajegunle comprises 36 public schools, 31 secondary and 5 primary schools, situated in the densely populated Ajegunle in Ajeromi, Ifelodun local government. It is built on an estimated 11.73 hectares of land. Delivering such a magnitude of a project in an environment that houses about 20,000 pupils testifies to the people-oriented nature of the state government. Because of the soil texture of that area, all the newly constructed buildings were erected on a pile foundation of 25 meters deep into the soil to allay the fear of building collapse. The engineers among us, there are so many this afternoon, they know what that means, and you need to have any clarification on that. After my statement, you can ask that. Other facilities in Tolu Schools Complex include a standard football pitch with racetracks, a multi-purpose sport court for outdoor games, a fire service station, a health center, perimeter fences around the entire complex, and gates to maintain security. Other facilities include water harvester, a biodigester, and solar panels to ensure stable power supply, among others. Before the Sanwo-Olu administration intervention, virtually all the buildings at the complex were in various stages of dilapidation. Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu directed a regeneration of the complex. Now the entire school complex has just experienced a major redevelopment and transformation in terms of modern infrastructure after 42 years of the establishment of the schools. During the administration of the first civilian governor of Lagos State, Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde, to reduce the student to classroom ratio from 70:1 to 50:1, an additional 13 classrooms blocks were constructed. 24 school buildings were also constructed to enhance teaching and learning. The Tolu Schools complex can now be referred to as an all-inclusive school where no child will be left behind, with two newly constructed buildings for people living with disability, which consists of vertical lift facilities to aid movement from the ground floor up to the last floor. A vocational school has also been established for students who desire to acquire skills in fashion designing, tailoring, craftsmanship, masonry, plumbing, and many other skills. So pupils need not fall out of school or because they want to learn a trade. They can do so even while schooling. The regeneration drive in Tolu Schools complex will improve the quality of education of students in that community as a result of the conducive learning environment. The provision of an information communication technology hub, ICT hub, and a central laboratory will surely prepare the students to acquire skills in robotic engineering and other science-related fields. It will bring learning closer to pupils. Proximity in education is not a minor consideration, it is fundamental. When schools are accessible, attendance improves. When attendance improves, learning outcomes rise. And when learning outcomes improve, opportunities expand. The Lagos State Infrastructure Asset Management Agency, LASIAMA, will take charge of the maintenance of the school buildings to avert deterioration. To date, the Sanwo-Olu-led administration has injected about 1,500 new classrooms into the school system. 423 classroom blocks have been rehabilitated, and over 300,000 dual composite students' furniture have been supplied to various public schools. Dear colleagues, the concept behind the Alausa multi-agency building, located within the administrative hub of Ikeja, is straightforward, yet transformative. By bringing multiple government agencies into a single integrated environment, the complex reduces the physical and administrative distance between decision points. Communication becomes faster, processes become more streamlined, and collaboration becomes easier. But beyond these immediate benefits lies something even more important, a redefinition of how governance is experienced by the people. In a modern city, the citizen should not bear the burden of navigating complexity. The system itself should absorb that complexity and present a simplified, accessible interface. This is what this complex enables. It transforms governance from a fragmented experience into a coordinated one. There's also an internal dimension to consider. Public service, as its core, is driven by people, yet the environment in which these people operate often determine the quality of service that they give. Outdated, overcrowded, or poorly structured workspaces can limit efficiency, reduce morale, and ultimately affect service delivery. Gentlemen of the press, the Alausa multi-agency office complex represents an environment, an investment not only in systems, but in the people who operate these systems. It sits on 2.01 hectares of land. It has 4 blocks, A, B, C, and D. There is a penthouse for meetings and conferences. Besides, there is a car park which can accommodate at least 300 vehicles. In the same vein, the Opebi Link Bridge seeks to address traffic challenges in the Ojota, Maryland, Mende-Opebi, and Allen axis within the Ikeja metropolitan zone. For years, this corridor has served as a major source for commuters moving between the mainland and key commercial districts. However, the absence of a direct and efficient linkage between these areas has meant that traffic is often funneled through a limited number of routes. Routes such as Mopolaji Bankrantoni Way and adjoining streets have carried a disproportionate burden of vehicular movement. It is in response to this long-standing challenge that the Ojota-Opebi Link Bridge, a 5.04 kilometers engineering feat, has been conceived and delivered. The project was originally conceived over 20 years ago during the administration of former Lagos State Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and by the grace of God, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today. It was revived and officially flagged off in January 2022 by Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. This makes it both a legacy project and a continuation of a long-term urban planning in Lagos. The 2.80 kilometers of a bridge and 176 meters of adjoining roads are just a hybrid infrastructure system consisting of roads, elevated bridge sections, and approach structures. The design reflects modern urban mobility standards, incorporating non-motorized transport infrastructure. In urban transportation, flexibility is key. A city with a limited route options will always experience bottlenecks. A city with multiple interconnected pathways can distribute traffic more efficiently. By expanding the network, this project enhances the overall resilience of Lagos transportation system. There are also measurable benefits that emerge from such interventions. Travel time is reduced. Commuters who previously spent extended periods navigating congested routes now have access to a more direct and efficient pathway. This has implications not only for individual convenience, but for economic productivity. When time is saved, it can be redirected towards more productive activities. When movement becomes seamless, predictable, planning becomes easier, and when transportation costs decrease, businesses operate more efficiently. Gentlemen of the press, the presence of Mr. President in Lagos at this auspicious occasion further reinforces strong partnership between the federal government and Lagos State. It also highlights the importance of continuity in governance. We are confident that these projects will not only serve the immediate needs of our people, but also stand as an enduring legacy for generations to come. They represent progress in action and hope for a better future. As we prepare for this historic visit, we assure residents of Lagos State that all arrangements have been put in place to ensure a smooth, secure, and successful event. We also urge the public to cooperate with the authorities, especially in areas where there may be temporary traffic adjustments or security protocols. We are working closely with the federal and state agencies to ensure that all arrangements for the president's visit are seamless, secure, and befitting of the occasion. Security, logistics, and traffic management plans are being carefully coordinated to minimize disruptions to daily activities while ensuring the safety and comfort of all participants. We urge residents to cooperate with authorities during this period, particularly in adhering to traffic advisories and security guidelines that will be communicated in due course. The understanding and support are essential to the success of these important events. Let me also use this opportunity to appreciate members of the media for your continued partnership in disseminating accurate and timely information to the public. Your role remains vital in keeping our citizens informed and engaged. This particular visit is all yours. Any presidential visit is, by its very nature, a media event. It requires that we put in our all to ensure good reportage of all the events, and I trust all will do us proud. In other words, dear colleagues, we count on your support in disseminating accurate information and promoting civic responsibility during this period. In conclusion, Lagos State is ready to welcome Mr. President. We look forward to showcasing the strides we have made and reaffirm our commitment to excellence in governance and service delivery. All the things that I've said, if I have missed anything, my colleagues are here to fill in the gap for me. So if you have any questions, you will ask, and they will be ready to talk about whatever issue that you may raise. On behalf of Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, I thank you for your attention. God bless Lagos State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àìmọ̀ṣe gbogbo wa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Information and Strategy, Mr. Mende-Opebi. You all agree with me that was an extensive and very elaborate information on the coming visit of Mr.
Answer, I think, about two of these questions, and the one for Great I will leave for my colleague, Bisola Olusoya to handle. As for the accreditation of the media, we are going to start that tomorrow so that you won't have any problem covering any of these events. I can assure you that most of you are now very well known to the security guys, and this is not the time we are covering any. This is not the first time we are covering a presidential visit. I assure you that this time it's going to be seamless, it's going to be smooth, it's going to be sweet, it's going to be sweet. You won't have to bother yourself about being ruffled and all of that. There's going to be accreditation, and I will ensure that everybody gets the accreditation before that. And what we are planning to do is to see that at every point where Mr. President will visit, there will be an official of Lagos State government media team that you can relate to should you have any problem. But I do not envisage any problem at all, because the accreditation that will give you tags, which you will wear prominently on your shirt, will show that you are on the media, and they will take it easy from you with you. I'm sure nobody will be trying to say because you are a press person, you want to go and force a handshake with the president. So after I'm not doing that, nobody will harass you at all. So as for the days of commissioning, we are also going to ensure that all of the events are taken live on television, on as many television stations as possible. So should you be unable to get so close to where things are going on, we will ensure that you do not miss anything. And when you are at the venue too, there will be big screens all over the place where you will be seeing things as they are happening real time. So don't panic at all. There is no need to. So as for the projects that are going to be commissioned on day one, we will have the Opebi Link Bridge, then the EGIS building, and then the multi-agency building. So, I think 10 a.m. Okay, we'll be commissioning the food hub, then the Tolu schools complex in Nigeria. So those are the two major events on the second day. Later in the evening, there will be one or two other things which we will also let you know about. Thank you. So Bisola will speak about the food
hub at Abidjan, or should I better say the Lagos Fresh Food Hub Abidjan. It is just a sister to the Fresh Food Hub at Mushin. The Abidjan Hub is far bigger. It's sited on about 23,000 square meters of land. That is 2.3 hectares. So you can imagine that for Mr. Governor to dedicate that expanse of land to a food hub, it shows that he means business. And this is because when you consider the kind of population spread on that axis, it is ever growing. And so we are planning also not just for today, but for tomorrow. And I think the EGIS team, they've really done a fantastic job in helping us to actually acquire that land, and it's actually part of the urban regeneration plan of the administration. Now, if I go back to what the Mushin Fresh Food Hub has been able to accomplish, year in, year out, at least it's been for 2 years running now, on average, we clock about 1.5 billion naira sales alone. And this is all revenues and proceeds going to the vendors, not even coming to the state. And this is none other than the fact that we are also trying to ensure that food producers, food marketers are also able to make good margins and understand that what we are trying to do within the system is to ensure that they also are profitable, and it is an investment-driven ecosystem. It's no longer producers just producing and not having places to sell or having market access, but just ensuring that if you produce, there's a place to actually sell. It is also part of a bigger ecosystem of the Lagos Central Logistics Hub at Ekpe, which is the mother of them all. That is on over 400 hectares of land. So what we will have is a hub and spoke. And so the likes of the Abidjan Fresh Food Hub, Mushin Fresh Food Hub, Agege Fresh Food Hub, Opebi Fresh Food Hub, Bombata Fresh Food Hub, Ikorodu Fresh Food Hub, they will be part of what will be servicing the Lagos environment, and these will be of taking food from the Lagos Central Logistics Hub in Ekpe. So all I will just say is, let us wait and see what will unravel. But what I know for sure, and what Mr. Governor has planned all along from the inception of this administration, is to ensure that Lagos understands its place in the food ecosystem. We're a market city, and for that reason, we understand that our area of competitive and comparative advantage is to reorganize and restructure our market systems, and that is what we are doing. Even from the likes of what we saw in 2024, as a state, we were able to intervene properly compared to all other states in the country. We were able to intervene properly in ensuring that we drove down the prices of food. When you have facilities like this, you can help to control price points. You can help to control quality. You can help to control food flows. And for that reason, you see dovetailing back to the point of origin and helping to ensure that from places where food items are being produced, you can tell them this is the quality we want coming to Lagos. This is the quantity, this is the timing, this is the season. We can plan properly. And so this is just part of a bigger ecosystem that in the course of the year, we would also be commissioning. And so we'll just look for that time. Thank you.
Administration of Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu to complement, the efforts of the past, by former Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who now is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. For those who know in history, Lagos is the first state in Nigeria to build a data center. That data center was commissioned by a former president, President Olusegun Obasanjo, together with the then governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The data center that we have in the Ministry of Science and Technology, has been holding our Oracle records. Oracle we use in doing so many things, payments for salaries, payments for contractors, and different things. And since then, during the time of the former commissioner for science and technology, who is now currently the deputy governor of Lagos State, Dr. Kadiri Obafemi Hamzat, a lot went into special data infrastructure. At that time, we carried out the 2009 mapping of Lagos, the orthophoto. For you to have a computerized land cadastral, all land must be mapped and surveyed. So Lagos is leading while others follow. So today, what do we have? We have about two. For those who know, during this same administration of Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, we now have cameras, everywhere, on the streets in Lagos. And when you're over speeding, you just get a ticket sent to your house. I'm sure GM of Landsman would bear me witness. And I'm sure some of you also have received those over speeding tickets. This is technology. Any good land information system must be transparent. And like I said, for you to have a computerized land cadastral, all land must be mapped and surveyed. This administration also went into mapping. And for those who remember, in the first term of Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, we actually did a new flying for Lagos. We now have a new, from 2009, and we now have 2024, 2025 orthophoto. Orthophoto are pictures of our environment taken from the sky in high resolution for recognition, for titling purposes, for taxation purposes, and a number of things. So the EGIS building, coming after we submitted a bill to the House of Assembly, to review and come up with a law, because it is not easy for us to operationalize a computerized system without actually having a law. So last year, in 2025, thanks to the Lagos State House of Assembly, a law has been passed for what is now known as Lagos Geographic Information Service, LAGIS. Just like LIRS, it provides service. LIS provides financial services, but LAGIS provides spatial data services. Spatial data is used by everybody. Agric has just talked about that. Engineer Dayamola, we've worked a lot with the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, and we're also doing something for LASEMA under the Special Advisor Works, Dr. Olayinka. So we have built this structure, not just because we want to show the world that we can, but it is something that is required. It is holding what we know as about 3. About 3 is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu EGIS data center. In that building, we have a complete data center, which is the first of its kind in Nigeria, built by Microsoft and HP. It's an hybrid system. We have both the on-prem facility and the cloud facility for this. We've worked with a number of companies from Microsoft, HP, 21st Century, TechBridge, Huawei, and too numerous to mention. So this is really very important to Lagos State. So the GIS Center is a center where all those who are involved in what we could know as spatial data infrastructure, will come meet and see how we can better manage our land administration system for Lagos. I mean, this started during the time of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and administrations after that, from that of Governor Babatunde Raji Fashola to that of Governor Akinwumi Ambode, now to the time of Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. Everybody has kept the faith, and we are now having the first of its kind GIS center that is owned by the state, comparable to any GIS center in the world. Thank you very much.
Dr. Olayinka will speak about the multi-agency building, then Engineer Daramala will talk about it.
Now, just to quickly address the question asked about the cost saving. I mean, what is government going to be benefiting from putting up the multi-agency complex? Well, the building is complete now, and we're going to be having a lot of our MPs and agencies occupying the offices there. The numbers we're still working on, but I can assure you that the billions will be saved in terms of rentals that we have all out there, because we're going to be locating some of our agencies and parastatals into that complex, and the numbers of the cost saving, because it's a large one, we're still working on how many of them and the impact it's going to have on our economy and this cost saving that we're going to have, which of course we are going to redirect into infrastructure, further infrastructure developments. It's a fully functional building. We have alternative power there, solar. Look at the area view and the drone shots. You see that we have the panels for solar, and also it's fully functional. We have power digesters there, powerhouses having generators of different ratings, and so that when we eventually open it up, it's going to be a very effective and functional complex. Thank you very much.
First and foremost, the agency called Scripps is important for you to know that it had existed coincidentally in the tenure of Mr. President when he was former governor of Lagos State. He, in 2003, inaugurated Scripps, which we have sustained in Lagos State, and because of the values that added in improving our fiscal infrastructure in our public schools. Now, having said that, the Tolu itself, and again, just to add to it, like the commissioner said, we've achieved a major land feats in developing schools, improving the number of classrooms in Lagos State, about 1,500, and several other composite furniture that have been delivered. We've created some new hostels in some schools. We have about almost 1,500 bed hostels in some schools. We've created the new and the first ever IT-driven schools. I mean, you recall the one we had at Veteran School in Agege, and now we are doing several other ones to ensure that every district has at least one IT-driven schools where we built with, just for construction purposes, reusable containers. If you go to Ogba now, we are building one which is about 97% completed. Ditto for Ikoyi. We also have Abaniko and so on and so forth. We are also doing recreation facilities in schools where we have those lands. However, for Tolu particularly, what had happened in Tolu was a situation whereby we had an intention of going to do just basic renovation because the school has existed before. And on getting there, all we saw, we realized that it's not just going to rehabilitate one of the classrooms there, because the community that existed with about 36 schools, having about 15 junior secondary schools, 16 senior secondary schools, and 5 primary schools. At that time when we got there, they were all mixed. The primary school were just modeled with the secondary school as such. That encourages bullying. You don't even have clusters for primary school. So what we did was go and do a proper survey to identify the number of the requirements in terms of number of classrooms that are needed. So we realized that there is a high student classroom ratio, which we had to ensure that we comply with the UNESCO standards from about 180. We brought it down to like 50 now. So how did we do that? Did a proper survey. We realized that we needed about 13 new classrooms that were mentioned by the Honorable Commissioner for Information. So we built 13 new classrooms in Tolu compared in relation to what was there before. And those classroom blocks had about 18 classrooms in each of the blocks, and they are founded on piles, like I said, well-dipped
board piles were used because we had to do typically for Lagos State the instruction, we have to do our soil tests. It's a standard in Lagos State. Do soil tests before we do any construction, which we ensure we comply to. Having these 13 schools, we had buildings there. Some buildings had to be knocked down because they were in very, very bad states. And we cancelled some buildings that are no longer usable again. The few that are still usable, we had to do an aggressive and comprehensive rehabilitation of those classrooms. So when you go there now, you see about 24 classrooms that have been rehabilitated, looking modern. We've changed all the windows, all the roofings, and ensure they had good flooring to ensure that they're durable. And also there, what we did was, again, we developed the first ever school for the people living with disabilities, because we realized that some of our schools, it's difficult for them to move from level to level. You usually have them staying on the lower floors. Like we did sometimes in Ogombo, where we tried to do something like that, and we had to do a ramp from the lower floor to the topmost floor. We felt that wasn't quite, we didn't have that space here. So that was why we decided to deploy mechanical lifts. These mechanical lifts are actually powered by solar panels. So when you go there now, you have what we call the solar fan, and we have the solar kiosk. So the lifts for both junior and senior, at least if you have such disabilities, you are privileged to be in any of those schools. So you don't have to be in the other schools, and you have means of moving from ground to topmost floor. So we have, particularly in that cluster, we have a solar farm, the kiosk is there that houses the batteries, and we have those lifts working for the use of the students and teachers. Right in that cluster, which we call a sustainable green cluster, we have what we have there, like a vocational school. Because it's important for us, now education, now technology is quite very, very important now. It's not all about academic education. So we have a vocational school, like as was mentioned by the commissioner, where you have skills that you can learn, sewing, electricity, all sorts, about 5 or 6 vocations are there. Masonry, I don't know, people that are doing construction now, the challenges we have with masons. We go to Togo, we go to Cotonou to go and bring masons. So we need to ensure that we have such facility here, where we can train students. So if you are not academically savvy, you have the opportunity to go learn your skills there, and you'll be put back into the system where you can be useful to the society. That cluster is actually featured with biodigesters to ensure that it has all the green initiatives. Rainwater harvesting is there, and it's a place that we're actually very, very proud of. It's the first ever in the whole of Nigeria, and perhaps in West Africa, that we have such facility. Moving up from there, we have our beautiful recreation facilities. If you go there now, we have the standard courts with tatami tracks, and we also have a space where you have multi-purpose courts where you can do all sorts of games. You have the javelin, you can do high jumps or whatever. Then we believe that having a kind of a community like that is such that there's something for somebody. We now, because right now, like I said, we have 16 senior secondary schools. I know our secondary school model is where you have physics, chemistry, biology. That's always in all the 16 schools. So we thought that we have to be more creative and flexible. So we decided, in partnership with an agency, a federal agency, to come and assist us. We are building currently now, which is ongoing, a central laboratory units, whereby the 16 schools, we are going to free the entire laboratory that they have there now. When we finish that development, it will be such that at least every school will clock into the laboratory. Instead of so we are deploying 16 physics teachers, 16 chemistry teachers, 16 biology teachers. We now have more laboratory technicians working in the big and huge laboratory, central laboratory unit. Each school will clock in like we normally do. When it's a period for physics, about 3 or 4 schools, that place can house at least for biology 200 students, for chemistry 200 students. So you can clock in to have your biology to be prepared for you. When you finish, another class will come in. So that's why we have the central laboratory unit. And again, in partnership with the people I mentioned, we have the ICT hub, where you can have your CBT tests, you can have robotics training, and all whatnot in that. So now, like I said, initially when you got there, primary schools were just fused in and anywhere. We now created a new primary school cluster. We had the primary school people are more comfortable and they're happy to learn. We've now even provided for them play swings and the rest that they can actually play with They're comfortable, it's their cluster, they have their recreation facility, no more bullying because we don't want anybody to bully in Lagos. It's even a law against bullying. So the Tolu complex school story is such that there's something for somebody. There's something for a student. Because Lagos slogan is, no student is left behind. And as such, it's an opportunity for particularly the lucky people of Ajego, Nigeria, it's such that they are there. They can do, once you're in Tolu complex, there's something for you. If you're not academically savvy, you are skilled in sports, you can do vocational, you can do ICT, you can do robotics and everything. And adjoining that place is the water that will be very beautiful, like the body law. Again, on the right, border on the right is the Maracana Stadium, where about 16 courts for people to play soccer.